This episode of Pull Magazine podcast is proudly sponsored by Ledge Lounger, the leaders in outdoor living and in-pool furniture. Ledge Lounger believes outdoor living inspires life's most meaningful moments, which is exemplified in their new collection, Autograph. Want to learn more about the Autograph collection? Check out what's new and visit our website at ledgeloungers.com.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pull Magazine podcast. Today, I've got up-and-comer outdoor living designer Chris Johannsen with me on the show. And Chris is the principal designer at Creativescapes Design in Virginia. Thanks so much for being with us today on the show, Chris.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. I mean, before we get deep into our conversation, why don't you give me a little bit of background about yourself and how you got involved designing pools and what Creativescapes is all about, man?
Yeah, absolutely. I went to VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, as a fine arts major in sculpture, which is not really normal. You don't see that every day. But after I graduated, I started working in the outdoor industry, designing and building lawn furniture, high-end lawn furniture. And then from there, I started doing CAD work on ornamental iron gates. And I just happened to be, when I moved to Richmond, I started playing hockey. One of my teammates was pretty high up at Eagle Bay Pavers, which is now Bellegarde. Bellegarde bought them a few years back. But he introduced me to Josh Goff, the owner of Commonwealth Curb Appeal, and I started working with him. And, I've always had an art history or art background. So when I started working with Commonwealth Curb Appeal, I started out as project manager. It was pretty much just me and the owner working out of his girlfriend's apartment. And that's when we first started. And then when I was done working there, it had grown into, I think, roughly a $5 million company when I left. So started as project manager, then went into sales manager, and then got Structure Studio was introduced to me. And that's where it really started taking off, where I blended my knowledge of hardscape and pools with structure studios and design. And that's where it really just started taking off.
So that's a big transition for you, Chris. I mean, going from hockey guy to, being a kind of outdoor living design consultant. I mean, talk to me about why you started becoming a designer and what first appealed to you about designing people's backyards.
Really? I mean, I love everything about it. I mean, just you're creating a space for somebody, an extension of their house. And, everybody, 99% of the people are just so great to work with. And, you're designing a space for them that they're going to enjoy, entertain in, have fun in. So the people that you come across are generally just really great to work with. And I've been super lucky to have some just really awesome clients. And that's what's really appealed to me about it. Also, in my personal life, I've seen what it's done, for my house and my family and my entertainment needs. And it's allowed me to, enjoy it personally, but also offer that to other people and, offer that in their yards.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you've been doing this for a while. You're doing this 10 years now, right?
Yeah, I think going up, just about 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, you're originally working for that other design firm, and to break out and start your own firm is kind of a gutsy decision. I mean, what made you decide to go that route?
It's a multitude of things. So it was a design build firm that I worked with before, and they were going one direction, I was going another direction, and it all worked out for the best. Yeah, I really wanted to get into the super high end, super custom, not off the shelf designs, and really cater to the luxury, high-end outdoor living designs. And that's kind of where it started. And I saw there was a niche where people wanted more of a freelance designer rather than to work with a design build firm that, some design build firms can push certain agendas and push certain materials. And there was a need that I saw that clients just wanted to work with somebody independent and truly had their best interests at heart.
Sure. I mean, they want to use their own materials. They've got their own ideas in mind, and they're looking for somebody who's going to be able to facilitate that. It looks like a lot of your hard work has begun to pay off a bit. I mean, you had some projects that won Hardscape Awards in 2016, 2017, 2018, and you got another huge project that you're going to submit this year in awards. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's a very unique design. The homeowner is a vet who's paralyzed but also a musician. So a lot of consideration had to be done in making sure that he's able to enjoy the space to the fullest. So we ended up doing since he's a musician, he wanted a guitar shaped pool, and it really worked out great, where we use the neck of the guitar is zero entry, where he can enter in and go down, and then there's a nice sun deck with a sunken fire feature in the middle, where he can pull up his wheelchair and conversate with people on the sun deck and get in and out the pool himself, which is a really big thing because he wanted that independence. And then at the top of the neck, where the tuning pins are, is a hot tub that will have a lift system to get them in there, but also have an overflow that's going down the neck of the guitar, and there's sunken lights for the strings. But it turned out really awesome. They actually should be breaking ground, I think, the next month or so to get this project started. I'm pretty excited to document it and the process of the build and everything.
You gave me
Great.
some sneak previews behind the scenes, man. It was pretty interesting. Like one of the photos that you showed me was there's like some fire on the water elements that like right by the pit guard where there was two ledge loungers in the seating area. I mean, there's some really cool stuff going on in this pool.
Yeah, so the fire element is actually submerged below the water, and the ignition system is above the water. So the gas will bubble and float above and actually ignite above the water. So it looks like the fire's just dancing on the water. We're actually working with an engineer now, Interior 2000, a local fire pit manufacturer, to design it and build it. And we're talking to him about custom fabricating the guts for the fire pit, and working on that with him. And it's getting there. It's been a lot of work, but it's definitely getting there.
See, what I love about your design is how you focus on the complete backyard. I mean, we talk a lot about pools here and landscaping, hardscaping, lighting. It all plays a factor in the design these days. I mean, talk to us about creating that complete backyard and making those destinations and all of those things happen for the customer.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously a pool is a big part of it, but we like to focus on the entire backyard and front yard if the client, wants that, but it all needs to flow together. And when you start getting into these, 500 to $1 million plus projects, not everybody has the money to do it all at once. So we like to create what we call a map for the backyard, and design the whole thing, go ahead and give measurements for everything, so that once it's designed, you can see what phase one, phase two, phase three. Maybe it is all in phase one, and that's we encourage to do that. But realistically, not everybody has the money to do it all at once.
Right.
So it's great so you're not undoing work to redo work, or doesn't look hodgepodge. Everything's going to flow together. And if you want that pool and patio now, and then next you want the pavilion with the outdoor kitchen, you can plan to, $10 sleeve under the hardscape can save you thousands of dollars down the road. So that's why we like to focus on the entire backyard and not just a piece of it.
Right. I mean, do you often do that with your customers? Like, do they have some projects that are going to go into multiple phases? I mean, how do you really come up with stuff that's like kind of timeless and that's going to be like, still relevant in like a 10-year plan?
Yeah, it's important. Of course, you want to do trendy things, but it's important to think about how timeless this is going to be. So I always tell clients to don't just think about this project. Think 5 years down the road. Think 10 years down the road. In general, Richmond, Virginia is pretty traditional.
Right.
Really modern is really starting to take legs here finally, which I'm very excited about. And people are becoming a lot more open to it, or doing like a traditional design with modern flair, which has become quite popular. But Richmond's a pretty traditional town, and kind of not quick to change,
Right.
but we are starting to see a lot more modern, or modern flair, or modern design incorporated to a little bit more of a traditional backyard, but trying to keep that timeless look, which is pretty big deal in Richmond.
Well, I mean, it sounds like, like you guys are trying to bring in more modern elements. I see some of the designs that you're coming up with. I mean, what's hot in your market in terms of building a luxury pool and backyard? I mean, what are homeowners looking for these days?
Well, just that, something a little different, something that their next door neighbors don't have. So just kind of piggybacking on what was said before is bringing more modern flair in, bringing in AstroTurf, bringing in more sleek materials, more straight lines, more, um, just more sleek, more modern, different materials, but also trying to keep that timeless design as well.
Do you see them looking to do anything like acrylic pools, like any of these like elaborate glass mosaic tile interiors that we see? Like I see a lot of projects coming out of there now are incorporating like a vanishing edge into their projects where there's an elevation to be able to allow for that. I mean, I see there's a lot of emphasis on breaking away from those traditional like lagoon style freeform pools and looking towards more modern geometric designs. I mean, do you see the same in your market?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's still a place for the, free form, grotto, rock slide. I'm actually just wrapping up one of those being built right now. But yes, going more towards a straight line, sleek. Vanishing edge has always, been a thing, has been popular. Doing the knife edge, again, just getting to that sleek design. And, sometimes where less is more. What's great about Virginia is there's a lot of elevation changes. So you do have that opportunity for multi-level designs, not just a flat backyard that's straight and playing with tiers and different levels. And so, if you're a if you're a designer in Virginia, you've got to be comfortable with multi-level and shooting grades in the yard and coming up with topo maps. So it does present some challenges, but some really unique design.
Well, you work in structure studios, right, Chris? I mean,
Absolutely.
does that
Yep.
make your job a little bit easier in terms of coming up with the design for these kind of like multi-level pools that have like all of these complicated issues?
Absolutely. I mean, just building it in structure studios, setting the topography, and then, especially when you're talking about multi-level designs, the client really has a hard time visualizing that and how it's going to work. So you're showing them in structure studios, the levels, how it's going to look, how you can hide features into walls. That's something I really love doing because I hate just putting, for a spillover or something like that. I try to avoid at all costs just building a random wall that has a spillover in it.
Uh-huh.
But when you start working with multi-level designs, slam that pool up against the wall that has stairs coming down and put the water elements in there. Just don't make the wall just a wall, but make it a feature wall. Do a plant wall. Do something to dress up that wall, make it a point of attraction as opposed to just functional.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the whole challenge, right? I mean, designing a luxury outdoor living environment can be really difficult. I mean, when working on a design with a customer, how do you go through that design process with them in Structure Studio? I mean, you're designing and then going back to them for approval. I mean, how do you determine what their needs and wants are before you even get to that point?
Really, it all starts with the on-site consultation. I explain to the client, and the client, when you show up, they're so excited. They just want to, an old sales terminology, show up and throw up. And they're so excited. They want to get everything off their chest. And generally speaking, the first hour of our on-site consultation, as I'll explain, is like, I don't need to look at the backyard yet. Let's go sit around the coffee table. Let's go sit around the kitchen table. Let's sit around someplace where we can have an hour to 2 long conversation comfortably without minimum distraction, and really get to know you. Let me in your house. Let me see what your style is like in your house. Figure out the wants, the needs, the wishes, the problems. Figure out what essentially, if this design does not do this, then it's not a successful design. And I kind of explain it as like writing a book. Let's figure out what the big chapters are. Like chapter 1, a pool. Yeah, you want a pool, but what does that pool need to serve? I mean, is it for laps? Is it for sitting in a float drinking a margarita? Is it for volleyball.
Right,
The
right, right.
pool can be more than just a pool that you just sit in. Like I explained, a pool is like a car. You can get a car that gets you to A to B, but then you get a car that can do a lot more than just get you to A to B.
Sure. Sure. I mean, you're trying to get in tune with, like, what their lifestyle is. Are they going to use it for entertaining, right?
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do. I mean, you got to drag the information out of the client. They know what they want, but they don't know how to express what they want. So it really has to do with the questions that you ask them. And I always say, I explain it's kind of like an exercise that, all right, what's the deck going to be used for? I know you want a deck, but is it conversation? Is it eating? Is it kitchen? Kind of want to mimic what's inside your house, create rooms and have them useful. So, the client always has all the information. It's just asking the right questions to really drag that information out of them.
Yeah, getting them to disseminate that to you is the hard part. I mean, once you've got that info though, and then you know what their needs and wants are, I mean, what's your process for helping them visualize what their swimming pool and backyard is actually going to look like?
Yeah, after the on-site consultation, we'll get together for the first design review. And when we get together, I drop the hammer on them. I show them the full fly-through video. We watch it multiple times. It's tons of information for them to take in. So, I explain to them. We'll start the first design review. Start right with the video. Do the fly-through. Watch it multiple times. But then after that, we can go into the design and start tweaking things, pushing, pulling, changing colors, changing materials. Let's move this 1 foot this direction. Nope, don't like it. And that's what I love about Structure Studios is it really helps the design process to where you can get that immediate gratification of, let's move this 1 foot this direction. Okay, let's turn it in 3D. Nope, don't like that. Let's put it back. Or let's keep that and move on. And we'll go section by section and just dissect every single section and, really hone in. And that first design review can be anywhere from 1 to 4 hours. And I explained that to them, but we can get a lot done, right there, sitting at the desk, trying things, undoing things, keeping things. And then, I always explain the goal at the end of the first design review is not to say, yes, I like this design, or no, I don't like this design, but to be at a good spot where you are seriously going to spend some time digesting all this. Go home, sit on your back porch, pour a glass of wine, pour bourbon, smoke a cigar, really talk about what's good about this design. What do you want to change? Come up with a list. And then we get back together for design review number 2. It's kind of rinse and repeat. But really, after that first design review, I explain the ball's on your side of the court. Take your time. There's no rush. I've had designs, go on for half a year and they're just still reviewing it. It's more important to me that the design's right, and rather than me rush you through the process.
Right, right. I mean, some clients are what I like to call frustrated designers, though. I mean, they have all these ideas and they want to contribute to that process, which can be fun, but then they're also leading a revision after revision, and it could be like a never-ending design. I mean, what are some of those techniques that you use to keep clients from perpetually moving the goalposts and making the design process a lot harder than it needs to be?
Well, I think part of it is also, we like to design to somewhat of a budget. So if they start talking 300,000, 500,000, then there's going to be certain things within that budget and their limits. When they start talking about adding certain things, you need to, kind of come back to that budget of like, look, this is going to put you outside your budget.
Right.
Are you, is this the route you want to go? But, I think really Structure Studios and just seeing what that design is going to be like cohesively, I think it eliminates a lot of that in general. Like, once they see that the design looks well and functions for their family and meets all the criteria, then, it's just a matter of fine tuning a bunch of those things. And,
So,
I always explain, it's the whole, there's two things you want in a good design is it needs to look good, but it needs to function well for your family. And that's, I always explain to them, it's definitely a team effort and a process.
Well, moving forward, I mean, towards bigger and more elaborate design projects can come with some challenges. I mean, what are some of the obstacles that you faced over the past couple of years trying to grow your company?
Yeah, just getting myself in front of, people that have the larger budget. Like I say before, we like to design to a range of a budget, which can limit um, some of your designs. So getting in front of those clients who have the $1 million plus budget has been a little bit of a challenge. I'm starting to see more and more of it, which I'm very excited about. And, also starting to travel more with designs, which I think will open up more of those clientele that have the larger budget and just really want to do off the wall stuff.
Yeah, I mean, finding those people can be a challenge. But, as somebody who's been doing this for over 10 years, you got some data to compare, pre-COVID to COVID as far as demand goes. What did that spike in demand look like for you in terms of, folks reaching out to you for your design services?
Yeah, well, I decided to start my company in the middle of COVID. So I don't, so as far as before pre-COVID, I was working for the design build firm, but COVID has definitely done a lot of things for the outdoor living industry. It's people are not wanting to go to public pools as much anymore or taking as much vacation. So, really that staycation, that backyard oasis, has really grown even more with COVID. And I really haven't seen that much of a slowdown. I mean, I thought we would start seeing it, but we haven't. And, I started my business July 2020. So that's kind of in the middle of right when everything, I think March 2020 is when things started getting really crazy as far as COVID goes. But no, I haven't seen too much of a slowdown. I mean, luckily, I think outdoor living is pretty recession proof, because if you look back like 2008, 2009, that's another time when outdoor living really took off, just because, people look to do things to their house during a recession instead of taking those trips and, putting money towards their house. And luckily, the clientele that I've been dealing with so far has not been affected too much with inflation and the somewhat recession coming up, projected, I should say.
Well, you're in Virginia, right? That market that you're in, you're talking about recession, inflation. I mean, you're really not noticing much of a slowdown over there. As far as your company is concerned, I mean, you got your foot on the gas and you're growing, right? I mean, I heard you're making a push into the Florida market right now. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm originally from Florida, born in Jacksonville, Florida. All my family's in Florida, throughout Vero Beach, Jacksonville, and kind of the Tampa area. So it just seemed like a natural progression to, keep growing in Virginia, but also start seeing what I can do in Florida, because, a lot of my family's there. I would eventually like to get back there. So it just made sense. And we're starting to get a little bit of traction, but eventually I like to do, a week there and, stack appointments and then see if it goes 2 weeks and kind of see how the workflow goes between Virginia and Florida and going back and forth. But I mean, Virginia right now is growing very quickly, which
Yeah,
I've been super excited about.
Florida is a hot market, so I mean, you can attract some attention there from a few of the well-heeled homeowners over there that are looking to do something extraordinary in their backyard. I think you make a go of it.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's going to do well.
Well, I'm glad you can come on the show today. Thanks so much for spending the time with us today.
Thanks for having me. It's been an honor, and I look forward to doing it again sometime.
You've just been listening to Pool Magazine Podcast. Today's episode was proudly sponsored by the new Ledge Lounger Autograph Collection, which features a robust catalog of new chaise lounges, chairs, headrest pillows, and side tables. The Autograph Collection is a sophisticated, reimagined look for contemporary in-pool and outdoor living furniture. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.